I heard XRP might disappear from exchanges. No, seriously, vanish. It sounds crazy. I thought so too, until I followed the trail to a secret stablecoin deal in Japan. Now here's how it all went down. I'm minding my own business on crypto Twitter. Okay, well, I'm doing our Discord thing too, when someone posts breaking XRP to $500 when it vanishes from exchanges in Japan. Now my skeptic kind of alarm went off immediately. You know the kind of feeling. Another day, another wild crypto claim. But this one had a little twist. It mentioned Japan and something about a stablecoin. Japan's usually not where the craziest crypto rumors really come from, so I was a little bit intrigued. So I did what any good sane person would do. I brewed a cup of coffee at 11 p.m. at night and I went down the rabbit hole. Right? If you're in our free educational Discord server, the link by the way is in the description, you probably saw me frantically sharing links and theories. I had to find out if this was pure fiction or even something kind of legit was kind of brewing across the Pacific. Now, a few hours in, I kind of stumbled across an actual news article, and it's like finding a missing puzzle piece under the couch, right? Ripple, the company behind XRP, announced its own stablecoin called RLUSD. It was launching in Japan in the first quarter of 2026, and I was like, what part wasn't in the rumor? Or at least that part wasn't in the rumor, but it kind of explained an awful lot, right? Ripple has partnered with SBI Holdings, one of Japan's finance giants, if you will, to kind of roll out RLUSD, right? Now, SBI's crypto arm, at least via SBI's crypto arm. Now, SBI VC Trade is what it's called. Now, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so there's a real kind of development here, not just someone's moon boy fantasy then that you usually find on Twitter. Right, Ripple is actually literally bringing us a US dollar-backed stablecoin into one of Asia's most active financial markets. And get this, RLUSD isn't some flimsy algorithmic coin. No. It actually launched back in December of 2024 and is fully collateralized by actual USD deposits, treasury bills, and other liquid assets. They even have an independent accountant doing monthly, attestations to kind of prove the money's actually where it's supposed to be. Now, in other words, RLUSD is the real deal, like USDC or Tether, but with Ripple's own twist. So, why Japan? Well, it turns out that Japan only recently opened the door to stablecoins legally. They passed a law in June of 2023 to establish a licensing regime for stablecoin issuers. Now, for a while, Japan was basically a no-go zone for things like USDT or USDC, but now they actually have a framework and they've been given, or at least they've even approved a yen-pegged stablecoin called JPYC. Now that's set to kind of roll out by October of 2025. So the timing here, it kind of just makes sense. Now Japan said, come on in to the stablecoins, and Ripple was like, don't mind if we do. Now, here's where it kind of circles back to the rumor then that I started with. Some people were actually speculating that this stablecoin move, RLUSD in Japan, could somehow cause XRP to vanish from exchanges or shoot to an insane price. Well, the logic was pretty convoluted. Something about institutions buying up XRP or using private ledgers, yada yada. Now, honestly, it sounded like a late night conspiracy theory, but I wanted to see if there was any kind of kernel of truth here. Even if XRP isn't disappearing, could a stablecoin expansion mean something big for XRP holders? So I widened my search and I looked at the bigger picture. Stablecoins today are huge, about $300 billion huge, globally that is, and some predict that that number will grow into the trillions of dollars in the coming years. Trillions with a T. Basically, stablecoins went from being this niche tool for traders to becoming the backbone of the crypto economy. Heck, even PayPal launched its own USD stablecoin recently. In fact, Ripple's RLUSD is already the world's 8th largest stablecoin with $666 million market cap as of August 2025. And yes, that was 666. I know, it's pure coincidence, let's hope anyway. Now, that puts it all right behind kind of PayPal's coin in the rankings then. Now, I remember when I first heard about stablecoins years ago, I thought, why would I want crypto that's kind of always a dollar? It's boring. Now I practically can't imagine crypto without them, right? They're the grease that actually keeps the gears turning. When I'm trading or moving funds between exchanges like Kraken Pro, my go-to exchange at the minute, and there's a link in the description down below. That's an affiliate link, by the way. It does help support the channel if you sign up and trade via it. Anyway, I rely on stablecoins so that I don't get wrecked by all the volatility, right? They're like the Swiss Army knife of crypto. Unflashy, but they are so very useful. So Ripple positioning their own stablecoin in Japan is a big deal. It's a big chess move. Now, I found a quote from Ripple stablecoin chief, this is Jack McDonald, calling RLUSD a true industry standard that provides a reliable and efficient bridge between traditional finance and DeFi. Now, that tells me that Ripple isn't just doing this for kicks. They see RLUSD as a key piece for connecting banks and crypto, and Japan is the perfect place to try it because the regulators there actually like innovation. So just imagine that, right? SBI's CEO, even said that introducing RLUSD is not just, expanding stablecoin options, but a major step in strengthening the reliability and convenience of digital money in Japan. In other words, they want people to actually trust and use these things at least in everyday finance. It's a true story here, right? A friend in Tokyo once told me that his co-workers were obsessed with XRP, and I thought he was joking. But looking at this now, maybe he wasn't, right? SBI and Ripple have been BFFs in the fintech world for years. SBI even used the XRP ledger for some remittances. Japan has quietly been one of the biggest markets for Ripple's tech, and now Ripple is doubling down with a stablecoin. It's kind of like a buddy cop movie, right? When the two partners kind of routine for, one last big case, right? Now you can almost hear the tagline, right? Ripple and SBI back at it again, this time with a stablecoin. Now by this point, the original rumor I was chasing started to make a weird kind of sense. Not the XRP will vanish part, I highly doubt that, but why people kind of felt something big was actually looming behind the scenes. Just days before, Ripple dropped this news, there were reports of them moving nearly 500 million XRP, in one go. Now that got everyone buzzing, like, yo, is this a major deal brewing? Now it kind of clicks, right? That massive transfer might have been related to setting this Japan stablecoin venture up. It's kind of, it's not just about, I guess, XRP magically hitting $500 overnight, but it's actually about kind of Ripple setting the stage for bigger things, right? And here's the thing about crypto. Big changes often start quietly, and, a stablecoin launch, a new law here, a partnership inked there, like these don't always kind of grab the headlines or even Reddit hype, right? But they can be the foundation for the very next wave of innovation or adoption. Now, before we go any further here, let me kind of just drop a quick kind of reality check, at least for my sake and of course for yours. And this one might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile and you could lose all of the money that you invest. It's important that you do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses. And this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, so that's the disclaimer, all sorted and done. Let's talk about what this all means for XRP going forward then. Did I just debunk the rumor, or did I uncover a different kind of bullish case? Well, maybe it's a little bit of both, right? So no, I don't expect XRP to literally vanish off of the exchanges. Pretty sure that I'd have a heart attack if that ever did happen. XRP is trading around $2 to $3, somewhere in that range right now, not $500, and that's fine. But I do think Ripple's move with RLUSD could indirectly boost XRP's importance over time. So let's think about it like this. If RLUSD becomes popular in Japan and a ton of new users and businesses will be interacting with Ripple's network, right? And guess what runs that network? Well, that's the XRP ledger. More transactions on the ledger, more integration with banks, payments providers, more trust in Ripple's ecosystem. All of that can increase demand for XRP as the grease in the wheels. Whether for liquidity, for fees, or for bridging. Different currencies, right? It's different things, right? It's Not guaranteed, of course, but it's a logical bet. Now, some skeptics might say, wait, if you got a USD stablecoin and maybe a yen stablecoin, who needs XRP to bridge anything, right? And it's a fair question, because here's how I see it. Stablecoins are awesome for local stability. Dollars will be dollars, yen will be yen. However, to swap one for the other across borders, especially quickly and cheaply, you still want bridges, at least bridge assets, right? And XRP was built to be that bridge. It's kind of like stablecoins are highways in their home countries, and XRP is the high-speed bullet train connecting those highways internationally. Now, in fact, I suspect RLUSD might be Ripple's kind of Trojan horse strategy: hook the traditional finance people with a safe, regulated dollar coin and get them comfortable using crypto rails. And then, when they need to jump between currencies, XRP is sitting right there in the mix, ready to make it seamless. Sneaky, right? But potentially smart. And Japan, being being on board, is kind of a huge, is huge strategically, at least, right? Now, here's a fun fact, right? The Japanese yen is the 4th most used currency in cross-border payments worldwide. So if yen-based stablecoins and dollar stablecoins start thriving under Japan's friendly regulations, well, that could grease a lot of the global transactions. We'd be talking about international trade, remittances, finance at scale that, goes way beyond crypto Twitter gossip. And on another tidbit here is that kind of blew my mind is a spokesperson from the JPYC yen stablecoin said that more stablecoin adoption might actually boost demand for government bonds. At first I was like, but then it kind of clicked. Stablecoins have to be backed by something, and often that safe asset is government bonds. So if stablecoins take off, say in Japan, well, the issuers will be buying up Japanese government bonds as reserves. It's already happening in the US. Stablecoin issuers are, buying big kind of buyers of the US treasuries. So ironically, governments that kind of embrace stablecoins could actually see a side benefit, more demand for their debt. And governments, that don't get on board they might actually just miss out and even face higher borrowing costs due to losing that new class of investors. Now, Japan clearly gets this and is leaning in, with Ripple and SBI giving them a kind of helping hand. So, circling back to where we all started, I chased a wild XRP rumor and didn't find any secret switch that will pump my bags to the moon. Sorry, I just didn't. What I did find was something more down to earth, but possible, right? Possibly even more impactful in the longer run. A blueprint of how crypto could quietly weave into the fabric of global finance. Ripple rolling out RLUSD in Japan might not make headlines on mainstream news or get your cousin to text you about buying XRP now, but it's a sign of the ecosystem maturing. Now, the big takeaway for me, sometimes the game's changing stuff in crypto isn't a kind of loud bang, but actually a slow burn instead. It's not the fireworks after all, it's the wiring being put in place so that one day flipping a switch lights up the whole entire sky. Now, we all love the adrenaline of speculation, right? I mean, I get a thrill thinking of what if XRP did hit $500, just like anyone else. But this experience reminds me of how we have to pay attention to the quieter developments, right? They might not be as flashy, they might not boost your portfolio 10x overnight, but they can fundamentally alter the course of, where this whole entire space is potentially heading. And hey, I'm not done being curious either, right? So if anything, this little adventure just made me more interested than ever in what Ripple is up to and how other countries will respond. You can bet that we're going to be talking more about this in our Discord for the next few days or so. I'd love to hear what your takes are, so whether you think I'm giving Ripple too much credit here or if you see the same kind of long-term play forming here. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you've enjoyed this rabbit hole deep dive with me, then do yourself, at least your future self, a favor and hit that subscribe button. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's going to happen next. I'll catch you in the next one.